The sun dipped below the horizon and the bubbling sound grew even louder as the moon reached for the sky. Jacob had his attention taken when Lial called for their eyes. "Look! What the hell is that?" she asked with shock, pointing behind the fountain. Jacob and Nicola were at her side in a moment. There, behind the fountain, they saw a strange, murky, liquid light of black and red, seemingly seeping up from the ground itself between the broken stones. They all watched in horror as the strange glowing liquid bubbled up from the ground, pooling itself around the fountain. The strange light grew even brighter as it climbed the fountain and fell into the basin, making the water glow an eerie dark red. Before long, the entire fountain was filled with the strange glowing liquid. Once the fountain's water had been overtaken by this strange light, the liquid began to roll and boil until it leaked over the entire fountain, coating it in a sinister glow. The light spread over the entire surface of the fountain before the bubbling oddity started reaching for the gemstone floating above it. Jacob, Niccolo, and Lial took several steps back as they watched the odd bubbling light touch the floating crystal, but then recoil with a sizzle as smoke began to rise from it. The strange liquid pooled in the top basin of the fountain before it all started forcing itself onto the crystal, entirely unhindered by the sizzling, burning touch of the gemstone beacon. The strange liquid seemed to be trying to cover the crystal, but just before it had coated it completely, the green gemstone started to shine. The light from the stone was so bright they needed to shield their eyes. "What's happening?" Jacob asked. "No clue," Niccolo replied with unease. The light subsided ever so slightly before glowing so brightly it bathed the entire clearing in bright green light. Then the light subsided as the strange bubbling red stuff was shot high into the sky, sent hurtling toward the moon like a shooting star. "Shit, we have to go back. Right now," Niccolo said as they all watched the strange black and red light continue to rise in the sky. "Let's hurry," we all agreed as the light slowed down. It wasn't another moment before it burst and fizzled away like it had the nights prior. "Right," Jacob agreed, grabbing up Cardi as Niccolo picked up Lial. They raced back across the countryside and managed to make it back to Sofia in less than a minute, though they were huffing and puffing when they re-entered the city. "Take us to Randy's, I have to check on Dawn," Lial said urgently. Niccolo was still out of breath, but he responded quickly as he set her down. "Jacob, take Lial to Dawn. I'll see what I can do to help," Niccolo said, red in the face. Jacob set Cardi down and picked up her master without hesitation as the howls of wolves rang out in several directions. Despite being out of breath, his legs weren't going to give out anytime soon, so Jacob leapt high on top of a building before leaping from rooftop to rooftop, crossing the entire city in moments. He jumped down onto the street in front of Randy's house, where they both burst in the front door. Lial ran up the stairs as Jacob put a hand on his chest and doubled over to catch his breath. He was huffing and puffing so hard he gagged when something foul struck his nostrils. "Ugh, what is that smell?" he asked himself. "Dawn, honey?" she called as she pounded up the stairs. There was no response. Lial ran into her daughter's room and only spent a moment inside before running right back out. "She's not in here," she said with fright before running right down the stairs. She ran so frantically that she tripped and fell near the bottom, but Jacob recovered just in time to catch her and put her upright again. "Where else would she be?" Jacob asked quickly. "With Randy, I hope," she said grimly. They headed outside just in time to see Cardi bolting past like a lightning strike. She ran between Randy's and his neighbors' houses and was immediately out of view. Jacob and Lial just barely managed to get around the house fast enough to see Cardi dashing toward Lil Dawn, standing at the edge of the forest. She was holding a ball and backing away from something hidden in the brush. Jacob's legs moved before he could think, and he just barely heard her say, "You have beautiful eyes," in a mix of terror and wonder to the werewolf that was approaching from the trees.